All right, so back to another episode of Glowed Up. I'm doing this as a follow up for the video on intermittent fasting and detoxification. So, one of the things that I didn't talk about was what I changed in my diet. On top of intermittent fasting, I also cut out a few things. I cut out grains. For the first week, I was very strict about no grains at all, and I was just doing like salads, um, sashimi, sushi, basically grade fish, or no meat at all, no eggs, nothing with animal fats that can feed this bad bacteria that I learned about. I don't know the name, but animal fats will feed a bad bacteria that if you have any sort of indigestion or any sort of liver issues, you're gonna want to take a big long break from that. For me, I did get heartburn. I had acid reflux, and this has been going on for like 15 years. When I did my fast, my year-long fast, I didn't get any heartburn. And people say that the sugar from fruits is also bad for you, but I was drinking my juice on the weekends, and I had a lot of fruit sugar. It didn't seem to feed the bad bacteria, which causes heartburn. And that's something that maybe you don't know, but acid reflux is caused by a bacteria, and it's caused by the liver not being able to produce the proper amount of hydrochloric acid. So that seems counterintuitive. People think that, oh, heartburn means you have too much acid in your system, but that's not true. And you can look that up. There's a guy that I would recommend called Medical Medium, and he has all kinds of free material as well as some amazing books that you can purchase. But if you just want to check him out, he's on SoundCloud or he's on the internet. You can go to his webpage. Very great information. Other thing I've been doing is basically I've gone back to like a Mediterranean diet where when I did start eating grains, it was small amounts of brown rice, but more like quinoa, millet. Those are the grains that I really recommend. Rice can break down quickly. So this is the bottom line for me. The rule of thumb is anything that breaks down quickly into glucose basically becomes the wrong kind of sugar in your belly. And the grains seem to do that. Especially bread. Like for me, it's like forget about bread. I don't even think about bread anymore because no matter how healthy the bread that I choose is, I still end up getting heartburn if I'm eating bread. Also, drinking beer seems to be no bueno, no good for that. So instead of beer, I will have some wine, some nice red wine, which is Mediterranean again. And red wine is full of antioxidants. There's a whole lot of reasons why, like moderation with red wine can be at least a much better alternative to beer. And I mean like one glass, maybe a glass and a half with your dinner. Certainly don't want to drink it on an empty stomach. Certainly don't want to drink it while fasting. But so the intermittent fast, quick recap, is basically for me what I was doing was I was holding off breakfast till about 1 p.m. and trying to stop eating my last bite at around 10:30 p.m., which is pretty late. A lot of people do 9 to 1 p.m. That's a more sound. Like you want to ideally not be full when you go to bed, and that's part of like dialing it in. Like you get it to where you can really stop eating around 9:30. That's ideal. But I'm just telling you what I did, and I'm just being honest. So my fast period wasn't even that long. It's just from 10:30 to about 12:30 to 1. And what seems to really be working for me is avoiding sugar, anything that breaks down quickly into sugar, and especially anything like processed or refined sugars. I don't do any of that anymore. It's just not worth it. Like if you want to feel glowed up and you want to look great, like my skin has gotten better. In that past video, I take off my shirt. I'm not gonna do that again here, but you can see I have some videos where I have taken my shirt in the past, and I just did it so like you have like a before and after So you can see the kind of results that you would get just within a matter of 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. I believe in that video, which it had only been 2.5 weeks, let's call it, of doing the intermittent fasting and the no gluten, no grains. Well, not no grains, but for the first 3 days I did no grains, and then I just started doing very little amounts of gluten-free grains like brown rice, quinoa, millet. There's a few others. Beers, a thing that I cut out. There's lots of things you can eat. People seem like there's nothing you can eat if you cut out animal products and grains, but there's salads have become like my favorite thing because they make me feel great. Also fruits. And then there's always nuts. I eat lots of nuts. That's where I get most of my fats from. Avocados. Avocados are amazing. A lot of seaweed. Seaweed is amazing. And then doing cardio seems to be the number one most detoxing thing that I can recommend to somebody. Obviously you want to take care of what you're putting in. If you want to detoxify, stop putting in toxins. But then also to flush them out. Cardio, for so many reasons, it's like super amazing. It's super effective. It pumps the blood. You're bouncing while you're doing it, so it's like you're shaking up the water bottle. I like to use a water bottle analogy. If you have a bottle full of dirt and the dirt settles at the bottom, it's hard to clean it out. But if you shake up the bottle by doing cardio and also inversions, which I talk about in my previous video, then you'll be able to get it out so much easier. It just makes sense. And you want to have your body be at its peak condition in order to ground and receive, like I say, your body's an antenna, to receive the higher frequencies of consciousness and to be able to manifest those into your life. Your body antenna should be at its optimum. And so these are my basic guidelines for a detox protocol. It's intermittent fasting, or a real fast would be great. But I'm just saying, if you're the kind of person who can't just stop eating for a week or a month, then intermittent fasting is a really great alternative. Starting the day out with salads, avoiding basically anything that breaks down into sugar, especially earlier on in the day, because what happens is that will spike up your insulin, and then you'll be craving other sweet foods. Anything that's addictive, like sugar, alcohol, smoking, if you do it early in the day, you're going to be craving it all throughout the day. So ideally you don't do those things, but if you're going to do them, try to hold off until, like 7 p.m. so that by the time you start crashing from those things, it's time to go to bed and you don't have to go put more in your mouth and in your body. I'm trying to think anything else. If you have any questions, really taking it easy, being gentle and being gradual with yourself, listening to your body, having a nice meditation practice makes this connection to your body and the listening part so much easier. Taking deep breaths into your lower abdomen, super key thing. If you say you can't meditate, that's fine. Maybe go for a walk and just focus on your breathing the whole time you're walking. Walk for 20, 30 minutes. If you can't sit still. If you can sit still but you just can't calm your mind, that's fine. Sit still and breathe deeply into your stomach and just constantly keep your attention on your body. Your body and your breath are always in the now. So that's the first step to meditation, is to getting your mind to where you can at least be here and now and not worrying about the past, worrying about the future, regretting the past. You just want to be here, tuned in to life, tuned into yourself. How do you tune into life? By being here now. If you're not in this body, you're not tuning into life. You're in some other, fantasy, and that the fantasies unfortunately don't support your life. Life supports life. When you're tuned into life, you will receive the information and the nourishment and the love and the acceptance that you crave and require to have a prosperous, beautiful life. But when you're in the past or in the future, in some other mental chatter, you're disconnected from those things. It's like your phone is off the hook and you're not receiving the phone calls, you're not receiving the messages, you're not receiving the energy, the prana, the shakti, the chi of life. Being barefoot is something that I'm gonna keep stressing in every video, because barefoot, touching the ground, is the way to connect to like the mother teat, I call it, like the resonance of the planet, which is constantly feeding us information, antioxidants, electromagnetic empowerment, which is chi or prana. It's electromagnetic current power, and your body is an electromagnetic system, circuit. So we want to be conscious of that and use that to manifest the reality that we want. I hope this is helpful, and yes, if I've left anything out, please ask questions, make comments. I always appreciate them. I always appreciate you. Much love. Take care.